So I'm just gonna be right here. And that's fine.
Will the congregation please rise? You can be seated. Thank you. Good morning, brothers and sisters. We welcome you to the funeral of Cardon Zane Beckstead. It's awesome to see the support for the family. I am Bishop Robertson, and I'll be conducting. Cardon Zane Beckstead was born November 17th, 1999 in Logan, Utah, and he passed away January 1st, 2025 in Logan, Utah. We are here at the Webb Funeral Home for the services today, January 11th, 2025. The pallbearers for Cardon are brothers Brock Beckstead and Dylon Beckstead, cousins Kate Jensen, Kobe Jensen, Jake Beckstead, Eldon Golightly, and Cardon Z of Preston. Honorary pallbearers are cousins Carson Beckstead, Payson Jorgensen, Chalice Jorgensen, Chris Beckstead, Nick Burbank, and Britton Burgall. A family prayer was given previous by Brother Tony Beckstead and Uncle. Our prelude and postlude music was by Sister Crystal Malcolm. We want to thank Sister Malcolm as well as Sister Hobbs. She'll be our chorister for the music today. We'll have a congregational hymn number 301, I Am a Child of God, after which Brother Spencer Beckstead and Uncle will give an invocation. Then we will have a life sketch from Carol and Brandon Beckstead, mother and father of Cardon. Then we'll have some memories from the brothers, Brock Beckstead and Dylon Beckstead. After which we will have a musical number by Brother Troy and Sister Jen Hobbs, The Test, being accompanied by Sister Crystal Malcolm, and we'll go to that point.
Given me Our eternal Father in heaven, we come to Thee in this time of mourning. We are grateful that we're able to be here. We're able to travel safely here to celebrate Cardon and what his life meant to each and every one of us. And pray for Thy Spirit to be with us and for the comfort over the family, that they can feel Thy love and help them through this tough time. Father, these things we pray in Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
I was braver than I am now. I am Cardon's mom and his dad, and so much love we have of Cardon, and we brought into this world with the name of Cardon Zane Beckstead. And his name is half of me first, like I talk first, is Carol, and the end of Cardon is from Brandon, the D-O-N, and he's always been a part of us. And he was born on 11/17/99 at 7:31 p.m. in the Logan Usable Hospital. We brought into this life with this Cardon, and I have thought some words to think about Cardon. We think of Cardon to be strong, stubborn, persistent, troublemaker, teaser. He loves to tease people. He gets that from me too. I can't say that word.
Mischief.
Mischief. Yeah, he was mischief. He is happy at things that he loves. And he has this way with all those words that he can get people to love him. And I'm hoping I can share some memories for Cardon. When Cardon was a baby, he is a very strong man, or a baby. He was a very strong baby, and he used to not sleep very good as a baby, and I would come in and check on him, and he wasn't really crying, but he did a little bit, and he ended up, every time he had a tea, he would get an ear infection. And we would never know he had an ear infection until his ears.
Ruptured.
Yes. And he would never want to cry. That may be very painful, but he would ever not cry about it. He is very brave. And 9 months old, he had to get tubes in his ears. When he got more of a toddler, he always liked to stand up in front of the chair, and he thought, I can do this. And so he stands up and he falls back down. He probably hits his head, but he wouldn't cry. He just stood up and did it again and again, persistent. And then I just saw a recent picture of him. You know, we did a scooter where he could just sit on it and, well, that? No, I have a picture of him standing up on those like that. He's probably a Dave Decker. What is it called? No, I said the wrong word. My words are hurt, sorry.
Daredevil.
Daredevil. Yeah, I'll say about that. And then he also spent the next days, you know, he's 3 or 4 years old. He used to go to Christie's Kid Corner. He, you know, troublemaker, different things. He got into friends of his cousin Payson, and they do all the boys the way they do. They used to come see me at the house together. They found some yellow paint, like craft paint, and they decided maybe they can make something, but open him up, I got bright yellow and a bright blue all over my carpet. And then they had so many ideas together. They got into the garage and see a box of nails, and I'm like, oh, we can go outside and make something, but it's kind of heavy. They dumped the whole box of nails in the sand pile. We had to clean it out. Yes. And then this part was fun too, because Cardon and Payson, they love tools. And their favorite tools were hammers. Little boys do things with hammers, right? And there was a big squash in the garage. Oh. Yes, that hammer was so much fun to just smash them to pieces. Yeah. And they were troublemakers. That's the words I say, troublemakers. And he went to preschool at Christie's Corner. He loves Cardon. And Cardon's kind of stubborn. And he didn't like doing his paperwork. And the teacher was very a way to get Cardon to do things. He got his pencil and broke it in half and scared him enough that said, okay, I'll work now. You know? Sometimes you had to do Cardon that way to get him to do things. And then I was thinking about the time of kindergarten. Did he like school? No, he hated school. Did he go to school? Yes, with a little bit of rewards. I would take him to kindergarten and got rewards to every time he got through. We could go get a cheeseburger and Matchbox cars at King's. We have a box full of cars. He loved cars, and he didn't like to work at school. And he used to share some things with me, and he used to say, at school, they wanted me to share what my favorite food to eat. And so he said, I said pizza, because I can read pizza, that's easy. But actually, my favorite food is mashed potatoes. I don't know how to read mashed potatoes. Remember very much of kindergarten? He didn't love school. He made it through a lot of years. Some love with teachers, and to help him, everybody tried to get more schooling, reading, different things. And what he always wanted to do is build something. He liked to build things, and he liked that. The other things he loved to do in the summers is to go around and hunt for frogs and snakes. I'm not a big fan of them, but through his friends, Payson, and any way that he could go with his brother Brock at the time, and they just loved to go around and find all these things. And then, of course, his grandpa Golightly to help them find these people that I do not like, the frogs and the snakes. And he used to say, can we bring it as a friend? And I would say, no, I don't like snakes at all. And a fun story of him, of the snakes, he used to come and see him. You probably helped him too to find the snakes. And he brought him in to work at me, and he was so excited. Cardon is so excited, and he would say, look, Mom, look, that snake bit my finger. And I'm like, are you okay? Do you need a shot? Are you? No, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. But it bit my finger. He always did very small snakes, but I always did. So, in third grade, he made it all the way to third grade through some teachers, and he was a lot of time at the thinking corner because he had friends. Part of his good friend. Colton Bailey, they were good friends. And he would get friends and he would do something maybe naughty with his friends. And do you know who the ones that got kicked? He got caught? That would be Cardon. He was the one that always, he wasn't that way because he has that smile. And you could see he's done something wrong. He couldn't, we could see it on his face, and I think the teacher did too. I can't remember how many days he went to the thinking corner. Does he think he's doing something wrong? He's probably thinking revenge. What am I gonna do next? Yes. And third grade was the year of 2010. Do you want to share anything else? The years before?
Just Cardon was a handful when he was younger. He was very hard for us to discipline because he was so stubborn. It really tested him, and we learned a lot of patience with him because he just couldn't, didn't matter what you did with him to discipline him, he would always have a comeback, no matter what. He had a lot of good friends when he was younger, and I just remember, like, when he was playing basketball, he was not as good a player as everybody else and not very athletic. I just figured he took after me. And he had friends on the team that even if they weren't winning the game, they would give Cardon the ball and help him down and block the other team pretty much so that he could dribble the ball down the court, and just great kids that
Got into their heart.
yeah, and just kids that young that have that special, they come from special parents and be raised like that.
Brandon was always the one to do him places. Where did he have to go every year?
To the monster truck show.
He loved that.
It was on his calendar, and if it was on his calendar, you didn't miss it. And he reminded you every week how many days it was until that event. One time we'd spent probably 3 weeks down to Primary Children's, and we got released on a Saturday morning, and Saturday afternoon we was in Pocatello at the monster truck show. So I couldn't miss that no matter what.
And I want to tell him about the last day of you took him to the crashing cars.
The demolition derby.
Yes, and I wasn't able to go there, and he got him full of snacks though. He was full of Dr. Pepper and some nachos or something, full of all of this stuff. And so we come home, and he was like, went into seizures that night. And I say, you get him full of all of that stuff? Is he okay? And, the not as much fun part of that is he went to the hospital and got the seizures controlled. And one of the doctors do an EKG of part of his heart, and a different doctor, and he had his heart with problems of having this, what's coming on with him. They say, did he faint? Did he have problems? No, he's too stubborn and to do anything wrong. But they got his heart fixed. He got a condition called the Wolff-Parkinson White. So we got him picked up and thought, that's the end of our problems. We're so happy to see what the problem was. And he can go trucking with you again. And the next year of 2010, he went into seizures again of September. A hospital, rushing to them, and then back. And then back home, and I could see Cardon, and I could say, you're not acting right, you're not getting talked back or anything, you're just not. And I say, I need to go back to the hospital, please. And through all the problems, they got him in an ambulance. A special drive to Primary Children's, the ambulance. Got lost getting there. We got a little bit of time getting there. And they have very good doctors there. And when he transferred into the ICU, and through CTs, everything, looking on what was going to his brain and seeing what's going on. I was sitting with him at the ICU and hearing the words stroke. And to make my heart fall, I'm not hearing that. And that's the way we learned about this condition is, the name is MELAS. And a big words of it is mitochondrial, I can say this, mitochondrial isopathic lactic acid stroke type episode. It's a rare condition that we never hear anything about them, and they have words like no cure but treatment, and it will affect everything from his nerves to his muscles. It was a sad thing to go through, but we said we will fight through that. We will fight for Cardon together. We will fight with Cardon. I learned a lot. This is so hard because I didn't write it down. My sister told me to talk about my heart. Cardon is so much of my heart. We learned that this condition can cause anything about your body because it's a mitochondrial. Mitochondrial is everywhere in your body. It can cause hearing, vision, so strokes are special. They're different than we say stroke 5 episodes because it's not different. It's a mitochondrial stroke, so it doesn't affect people that you would ever hear of a stroke. It affects his mitochondrial, which means he can come and go.
Carol had to educate many doctors on that. Understand that condition. I feel like at the end she knew more about the condition than most of the doctors in the hospital did.
And I've been told before, just remember you're not a doctor.
She was a mother, so she was right. And that's partially why Cardon survived as long as he did with it. I mean, he would just get back rehabilitated and do it again. He never got ever. He was a great. Seems back up, but he never got sad.
Maybe
Never got sad.
it's not hard to take care of him. Goes to take care. Not hard to take care of him. Goes to take care. His medicine.
He touched everywhere he went, no matter where. Everybody remembered him. He touched them in a certain way. I've had a lot of people reach out to me that said they've never met him, but they just felt him, and they were touched by his story. And even after he couldn't speak, he could still just win people over with his smile and his ways of teasing.
I remember some stories of the doctors, and we would be at the hospital, and the Cardon way, and he would be awake, and the doctors would come into this room, and he would say, Cardon. He'd pretend to be asleep when the doctors came in, and then he'd wake him, and they say, oh, as strong as he could, and the doctors would be like, oh, that hurts. I remember he wanted to do so how strong he was. And Cardon was strong and got on all the problems he would have. Sodium problems, you know. His will to listening to my heart that he will say, Dr. Brickman's come up and say, quit talking about me. Mom, quit talking about me, and cover my mouth. But I'm here talking about him. He was ability to, hardest part was when he got his will to talk. His words were not very nice, you know. He liked to give his words that he brought from his wrestling, I'm sure of that. Yeah. We missed this of his Make-A-Wish.
Oh, yeah.
In 2011, December, he went to see John Cena. Oh, he looked at that, and then he came back and told me, Mom, I thought I was going to faint to see him. Really? I could have fainted too. He loved everything. We miss him not being able to tell what he wants. His ability to eat, his brain was telling him not to eat and go through the right spot. And I used to say he didn't like to eat very well, and he used to tell him, that's the hardest part of my day, is trying to get him to eat. And I took him to a store, that stubborn man. He was a boy at that time. And I say, Cardon, you need more calories. The doctors always say you need more calories. What candy bar do you want? Let's take a candy bar. That's more calories. Come on, take this candy bar. He would say no. I'm like, Cardon, please take this candy bar. No, I don't want one. Yeah. He did get there's so much stories to share of Cardon, and we won't keep saying stuff.
I just want to say I'm grateful for everybody that's helped us through this journey. We could have never done it alone, from friends and family and Cardon's brothers. They've done more than helping the stuff the brothers shouldn't have to do with. Seen more, gone through more. So grateful for everybody. It's just, there was so much love everywhere. Made everything so much easier.
And one of my hardest days is when, I'm a carrier of the same mitochondrial condition. And I ended up going to the hospital for 3 weeks. That's the longest time I have ever been away from Cardon. Cardon, I was always there for Cardon. Well, I sat next to him on the couch. And it was very hard for me to not be able to fight with him and trying to take him to the Rocky Mountain facility when I cannot fight for him, and trying to teach these people how to take care of Cardon. It was hard, very, very hard. I am very grateful to have friends and people that have helped them. And
I feel blessed that we got to see his entire mortal existence. We watched him take his first breath. And we held him as he took his last.
held my hand for the day, and family and friends to help me be stronger. Nobody else can cry. I think the dishes are home. We knew it was time that Cardon should have to fight anymore. He had too much. Problems. There's better words, but and I sat next to Cardon, holding his hand and seeing so many family and friends that love us so much. Cardon held on until the new year. He wouldn't just stop. He used to still fight for the last minutes of his life. And we lost him on his mortal body. 1/1/25 at 2:44 a.m.
And I am just grateful for the Lord's plan of salvation that we'll be able to be reunited with him. And knowing knowing where he's at right now. We shouldn't be crying in our sorrow. We should be rejoicing for him being whole and young.
And I am thankful for whoever up above is making me talk and say all those words, because I lost those. And now I can talk more. It could be up above. They have helped me be able to tell this story about Cardon. And the family of so much love. And thank you for our time. Now it's their brother's turn. Going to fight with you.
Good to see everyone here tonight. All this love, all the people that care about him. When I was writing this, I was thinking a lot about Cardon when he was young and all the things he cared about. And I've heard a lot of wonderful things about him from people today and all that. I think the one thing I always think of Cardon that I haven't heard from anyone yet was how just absolutely cool he was. He was the coolest guy around. The reason we're all in red today, because red is the coolest color. He was always into the coolest things. He loved fast cars, and trucks, and wrestling, and he just always wanted things to be cool. And I know he would lament a little bit us sitting here talking about him and crying and being sad, and we have this big convoy of all these cool trucks outside just waiting for him to have a good time. So I hope we're not offending you too much, bringing things down a little bit. But when Cardon and I were growing up, we were inseparable. We're only a year and a half apart, so for a lot of our lives we looked exactly the same. A lot of people thought we were twins, and we would just do everything together. We'd play our video games together, chase those snakes and those frogs. Everything we would do with each other. As the older brother, I always made sure to take him under my wing and care for him when I could and when I was able. I remember when we were just 3-4 years old, when my mother was dealing with thyroid cancer, I would always put VHS movies on for us to play, because that's how I knew how to entertain him and take care of him. So we would watch movies all throughout the night, because I was the one who needed to run the TV and rewind them and do all that for him. So he would ask me for every single monster truck movie, every Power Rangers, all the coolest movies we had, over and over on repeats. And when he had that first seizure at 10 years old, I always did my best to be there for him, even if life changed a little bit at that time. I remember when he first had that seizure, we were sleeping downstairs. We had this pull-out bed on the couch,
because you slept downstairs. That's where the big TV was, and you could stay up a little bit later and watch things without getting in trouble. If anyone comes check on you, you just pretend to be asleep. But that was that first night when we were sleeping down there that he had his first seizure. I was there next to him. I woke up and he was having a seizure. And life got a little bit different after that day. I remember we used to share bunk beds together. We had the same room. He was on the bottom, I was on the top. And after that night, I always stayed up an extra hour or two, make sure he was okay. He was asleep, that nothing had happened to him for years and years. And my role changed to be more of a caretaker then. I'd make sure he'd get on the school bus okay after school, and I was there with him through a lot of doctor's appointments when he needed to go to the hospital or physical therapy. I was always there to make sure that he had a good time and was able to get to those things. And so I wanted to share a couple of poems that I feel like exemplified some ideals of Cardon's life in a way that hopefully is not too uncool for him. So I'll share a couple of these. So the first one we have is an old poem from John Donne in the 18th century called For Whom the Bell Tolls. It reads, "No man is an island, entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, part of the main. Each man's deaths diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore, said not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." And to give a little context for that poem, because it's a bit old-fashioned, when someone would die back in the old days, they would ring a bell so that everyone in the town knew that someone had passed. Cardon's life was a life of community. The things he was able to do and the things the people around him were able to do were only possible because of family and friends and neighbors, members of the church, all of the trucker friends from around the world that would come by all the time. Everything that was possible was only because of the people around him. And in the same way that everyone helped him, he touched people and shared with them in that same way. Next one we have here is a passage from For Whom the Bell Tolls, an old Ernest Hemingway book in which the poem was inspired, which reads, "There is nothing else than now. There is neither yesterday, certainly, nor is there any tomorrow. How old must you be before you know that? There is only now, and if now is only 2 days, then 2 days is your life, and everything in it will be in proportion. This is how you live a life in 2 days. And if you stop complaining and asking for what you will never get, you will have a good life. A good life is not measured by any biblical standard." And I think that even though Cardon didn't get to live the long life that he so well deserved, he lived it to the fullest and had action in every day and lived every moment. He knew what he wanted and knew what he wanted out of life, and he would let you know whether you wanted to or not. He had that way about him. And last one, which hopefully is a little more cool for Cardon, is from For Whom the Bell Tolls, the classic Metallica song. He loved his rock and roll and his heavy metal, because of course that's the coolest type of music. And the chorus of that song goes, "For whom the bell tolls, time marches on. For whom the bell tolls." And I think that's a reminder for each of us to take those memories we've learned from Cardon and his experiences and everything he would bring, and move it forward and share that love and bring it into our own lives. Thank you all for being here today.
Precious gift be depths of sorrow I cry, the pains of grief within my soul arise. The whisperings of the Spirit still my cries. Didn't He say He sent us to be tested? Didn't He say the way would not be sure? But didn't He say we could be with Him forevermore, well and whole, if we but patiently endure? After the trial, we will be blessed. But this life is a test.
Thank you, Troy and Jen, for that. That was beautiful. And thank you, Crystal, for accompanying them. I think this goes with that a little bit. I found this quote over the last week. I don't know if many remember Neil A. Maxwell. He was a member of the Quorum of the 12 when I was a teenager, and remember him vividly going through battles of cancer while he was a member of the Quorum of the 12. But this was a quote that I found, and hope that we can use that to kind of spearhead a little bit. It says, though otherwise lively, hope stands quietly with us at funerals. Our tears are just as wet, but not because of despair. Rather, they are tears of appreciation evoked by poignant separation. Yet the emptiness is so real and so restless, it initiates a retroactive inventory of what is now so painfully missing, doing so, however, while forecasting fullness and resplendent reunion. And the things I've heard so far are kind of down that road. I myself didn't know Cardon very well, but over the last week or so, I've been able to hear and see some things that I feel very close. And so in doing so, what I'd like to do and what the family would like to do is open it to memories of Cardon. We'd like that to be somewhat brief and short, but memorable nonetheless, and give us just some of our memories of Cardon and what he meant to us in our lives. We'll probably do that for the next 10-15 minutes, after which I will probably give some closing remarks, and then we'll go to that point.
I'm just going to stand here, so I hope you can all hear me. When I first met Cardon, I hadn't married Tony yet. He was probably about 2 or 3 years old, and they came to the house to visit me, and Cardon just had his hand clenched tight. I said, "What have you got in your hand?" He opened it up, and his palm was full of coins. He probably got it from Uncle Tony. But that just showed how determined he was. And I worked with him when he was in 2nd grade. I worked with him after school reading. And he is stubborn. And he'd say to me, "I'm not doing this." And I said, "Okay, I have your mother's phone number. And I'm going to call her when we're done. But if you want to just sit here, that's fine. I'll call her when we're done." So after that, he was okay. And we got along fine.
A lot of you know me. My name is Troy Wynn, for the record. I own Precision Diesel out here north of town. Brandon told me and Spencer, Leon would bring their trucks out to me to work on. And Brandon reminded me of a memory of Cardon. It was really kind of funny. I got long hair. And Cardon always used to call me hippie. And Dylon, you know Dylon, right? I couldn't remember his name. I would back him up. Said, yeah, hippie. I'm like, come on, Dylon. He's his brother. You should back him, right? But I always couldn't wait till Cardon come to the shop just because he called me hippie. You know, and it was just the neatest thing in the world, and I want to tell Brandon and Carol, thank you for that memory, because that was one of the neatest memories of him that I didn't do much with Cardon. I did a lot with the family, you know, but what I did was very, very memorable to me. It was really awesome, and thank you, and we love you guys.
My name is Susan Speedy, and I work at Preston Junior High as a special ed teacher. And I had Cardon in my classroom for about 5 years. When Carol just asked me to make a few comments today when I came in, so this is kind of off the cuff. So I asked her, I says, is there anything that you feel that, you know, that brings up in your memory, kind of what you'd like me to share? And she says, about the couch. I says, okay. As Cardon was getting weaker and frailer, I brought a couch into my classroom. It was a smaller couch. It wasn't very big, but it was long enough for him to lay down if he got nauseous and sick, or if he wasn't feeling well, or if he was just getting too tired. And I had a name tag on the back of the couch, just above the couch, so that the kids knew that that was Cardon's couch. And one of the things that stuck out to me the most was I didn't want anybody or any other student or, you know, even a teacher coming in and sitting on Cardon's couch. That was his. And I kept it very clean and put new pillowcases on the pillow. He had blankets, so if he got chilled, he could cover up. Well, if any kids got or sat on that couch, if they were going up to there was a student table that had some supplies on it, and needed markers or crayons or pencils, razors, whatever it was. Anyway, Cardon would come in and that's the first thing he'd look. He'd look to see if he was on his couch. Well, one day there happened to be a student, and he walks up there to the student and he says, it doesn't say Mike's couch. It doesn't say Jason's couch. It says Cardon's couch, so excuse me. So it was kind of funny. I just thought that, I mean, he had his own little territorial things in the classroom, and that was his. One time, he got sick, and sometimes he would throw up in my classroom. Well, this one time he got pretty sick, and I was helping him, and he's, you know, I had his little bucket and whatever or not right there with him, and tissues and wipes and stuff. Well, all of a sudden it created a chain reaction in my classroom. And that was one of the times it really pokes out to me where, you know, he was laying on his couch and he just sat up, and I knew that look, and he threw up, and it, you know, it created that chain reaction. Needless to say, the kids were out of the room for a little bit while the custodian came in. Cardon taught me a lot more than I have ever taught him. And I believe that he taught his peers, his friends in the classrooms, the same. He taught me, excuse me, he taught me gratitude. gratitude for my help, for being able to teach him, and he taught me patience, because I love this child like he was my own. Because when I know when Carol dropped him off in the morning, I think she knew I had a back. I had her, you know, taking care of him like he was my own. And he also taught me patience, because then the kids had to learn patience, because I had to take time for him. And of course, the other peers, they didn't mind, because they didn't have to listen to me. So I truly believe that Cardon earned his wings here on earth, not when he got to heaven. I think he earned those here. And I believe when he passed the veil and met Christ, I think he earned them right there. And he hugged him and said, "Cardon."
You're talking about Cardon, he liked going fast, and I was going through some pictures and looking on Facebook about some memories we had. I remember one winter I visited, I was seeing Brandon Carroll for a little bit, just coming for a night or something, and we had a snowmobile out, and had the sled behind it. I remember Cardon was like, "You're not going fast enough, move faster." We're having fun. Then it's got to be like 8 o'clock at night, more freezing. It's that snow got warm in the day. So then I crusted over at night and got frozen again. Cardon's, "You're not going fast enough, you're not going fast enough." And I dumped him off the sled, and he had these big old cuts in his face. And he was a little mad at me for it, but he never got too upset. And we got a picture of him. He's got these big old red cuts, just fresh. And he's got the biggest grin on his face still about it. Oh man. Miss you, Cardon. We ran miles on Grandma's carpet running trucks, dude. And I love you. Sure miss him. Love you guys.
Hello, my name is Sabine. I used to be one of Cardon's in-home caretakers. I'm also one of Ali Miner's best friends, and would like to read you something she wrote for today. So I am reading this for Ali on her behalf. I helped care for Cardon while he was home, and now I get the pleasure of helping Carol. She's become one of my greatest friends over the last few years. By the time I got to meet Cardon, he could no longer speak. No worries though, he still made sure you knew what he wanted, with his spunky personality and facial expressions. If he liked you, he would make you take your shoes off. That way you couldn't leave or would stay longer. If that didn't work, he would grab your arm and pull you close to him and not let go. I have a scar as proof, and now a reminder of our friendship. He had a love for the color red, and boy did he love his red and white striped socks. Brandon and Carol loved Cardon so much that when he refused to get into the car to go to the hospital, that they went out and bought a brand new red car just to get him go. Then there's Cardon's love for semi-trucks, a passion he shared with his dad. In spirit, he will be riding beside Brandon for years to come, taking photos everywhere they go. A love for wrestling, both on and off the screen. I'm sure he shared a few of those moves on his brothers Brock and Dylon growing up. Through Make-A-Wish, Cardon even got to meet John Cena. I knew it was his favorite wrestler, because when Cardon and I would play wrestlers, he would always have to be Cena, but it allowed me to be his mom's favorite Roman Reigns. Also, Cena always had to win. It was an honor to be asked to be there for Cardon's final moments. The love in this room, that day, and the day before, surrounded by family, was immeasurable. Definitely one of the moments I will hold near and dear to my heart, in remembrance of Cardon Zane Beckstead. And I got a side note. Even though Carol has insisted, I will not be singing any Moana songs at this service. Remember those facial expressions I mentioned Cardon had. He would not have wanted me to embarrass myself by the look on his face when I sung them to him at home. Thank you, Ali, for the kind and loving words and for the compassionate care you always gave.
My name's Katie, and I'm one of Cardon's cousins. We used to visit a lot in the summer. Our dad, if he was out trucking, we were either at Grandma's house or we were at Carol and Brandon's because they had the coolest toys and the biggest TV we'd ever seen. So we had to be there, and spent a lot of nights hanging out with Brock. It's dinosaurs and Pokemon. We had to play those. Cardon usually humored us for one Pokemon we played before we were watching wrestling or we were watching monster trucks or something, or we were wrestling, and I always lost to Cardon because he was younger than me. He was a tough kid, and he knew his mind. Later after high school, I got a chance to live with my grandma for a while. And after Cardon was diagnosed, Cardon spent a lot of time at Grandma's house. He was living there. She would help watch him while Carol worked. And he didn't always want to eat, but when he wanted to eat, he wanted what he wanted, and you were going to go out and drive wherever it was to get that. And and I was driving my great-grandpa Ace's Ford Taurus wagon at the time. Cardon let me know what grandma car that was every time he saw it. He was always teasing me about my car. At the end of 2011, I got in a pretty bad car accident. At that time, I had a much cooler red car that he was more approving of, but I killed it with that car accident. I was really scared to drive for a while, and I was home visiting, and I was living with Grandma still at the time, but I was hanging out, and Cardon was here with us, and he had one of his seizures, and it was pretty scary. And we called up Carol, and Carol came right home. She hopped in the passenger seat of her Durango and held Cardon there and told me to jump in the driver's seat. And I hadn't driven since my accident. I was afraid to, and Carol wasn't about to let that stop us from getting anywhere. She told me to put my floor foot on the gas and step on it. And we rushed off to the hospital for him. A few months, that's what got me driving again. But a few months later, I got a new car, which was a red Taurus, another one. And although the red was cool to him, he was terribly embarrassed to be being picked up by me in that car. It was worse than the wagon in his mind, as far as red cars went. But there's a lot of loss we've had in our family, and it's different losing a cousin. But I just know he's got two grandmas. His Grandma Golightly, his Grandma Beckstead. They're just hugging on him and pulling him into their lap, loving on him. I'm just really excited for him to have that. He had a sister, Jessica, with him. And he taught us a lot about being resilient and everything I know in my life about wrestling in monster trucks because of him. And I'm just glad I got to be his cousin.
My name is Stacy. I'm also a cousin of Cardon. When I asked Carol how I could help her, she said, just get up there and say some words because I just used to have the greatest relationship with Cardon. And growing up, when my parents got divorced, Brandon and Carol's family were so important to us because they would always help make sure that we got to where we needed to be to see our dad. And we just always had the greatest times, you know, we'd go hang out with them and road trip. And I remember I would purposely leave my glasses and we'd get halfway there and I'd be like, oh no, I guess we have to go back and get them. And Brandon would, no, we're not doing that. I used to take the boys when I, you know, became an adult and got in an apartment. I used to take the boys and would go just hang out at my house. And at first when I first started driving them around, I had a minivan. And Cardon let me know that he was not riding in that very long. He was not going in it unless he had to. And when I got a red car, I was so cool. I was the coolest person and I loved that. He used to say, yeah, this car's cool. Don't ever change your car. And then I sold that car and that's the car Katie got. I remember I was going through pictures and I saw one of him in his little ninja costume. And I could physically feel the karate chops to the throat. If he didn't like what you were doing or the way you were looking at him, he just would karate chop you. I have so many amazing memories. When I was in high school, I came down here to live with my dad. And I just spent so much time with my favorite aunt and my favorite cousins. I'm so sorry to the rest of you. He would draw pictures and he used to say, I don't want you to show anybody this. And he gave me one time and he wrote, I love you on it. And he said, I'm going to let you keep this, but if you tell anybody about it, I'm going to rip it into pieces. So I'm safe now. But I miss him so much. And I got to go spend quite a few hours there the week that he died, the Sunday before. And it was just so great to spend some time there and be there, you know, for Carol. And there's not enough time. But there's so many things that we could say, but honestly, I think he was the coolest kid alive. Brock really covered that. He was so freaking cool, and the world is just much less cooler now. I love you guys.
My name is Cody Bueller. I just want to share a couple of things. I work on Brandon's trucks, and anytime I'd be there at Brandon's house working on his trucks or trailers or whatever he had, before Cardon got put into the home, I could hear him because the window was always open. And I was talking to Brandon yesterday, and it never dawned on me until yesterday, but anytime I would fire up one of his trucks, Cardon would get really loud. Like he'd start yelling. And at the time, I was talking to Brandon, and he's like, yeah, when he wants his TV show changed, he gets loud. So I just always thought that that's what that was. But thinking back, anytime I fired up Red or Pearl or any of those trucks, that's when he got loud and he got excited because his love for trucks waged war against his dad's. So, another thing is Dylon. You probably don't even know it, but you touched my life for your love for your brother. We were resealing cap lights on Red, and Dylon was helping me. And it was when Carol was in the hospital, and Brandon was running ragged, and I don't know if Dylon was at home alone or what, but he was helping me, and I was just trying to just talk to him, and I just asked him how he was, expecting him to say, oh, it's sweet, I got the whole place to myself. I can eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, but all he said is I just want my brother and my mom to get better. And that's all he said. And that really touched me. And I respect the heck out of you for that. And all of you. You guys love each other so much.
That's a tough one to follow. So, I'm Carol's sister, And I was very fortunate because I had 2 boys that were Brock and Cardon's best friends growing up. When the 4 of them got together, they were inseparable. And one of my biggest memories is one time they went out on the farm and my dad had this box of eagles out in the shed. And the intent was if you hang the eagle in the shed, it'll scare the birds away. Well, these little boys at the time, I don't even know how old they were young, they found these eagles and they each had at least 2 of the eagles. They carried those around for years and they called themselves the Eagle Brothers. And I know that what Carol said about Cardon, all those words, mischievous and all that is true. I know those 4 boys left their mark on that farm that'll probably permanently be there. And I share Carol's dislike for frogs and snakes and all of that. And I know when I was up there, I had to always be careful around Cardon because the first time I would turn around, he would be right there with a frog or a snake in his hand, knowing that I would be screaming and running away. So Cardon was a fighter. He impacted my life greatly. And the love of his family and how they all pulled together to care of that little boy. Allie and everybody that I got to watch be part of that will always be part of my life. And Cardon's logo, Never Give Up, will be something that we carry with us for the rest of our lives. So thank you for touching me and allowing me to be a part of your family.
Hi, I'm Cardon's Aunt Nancy, Carol's sister. I have to say, Troy, your nickname of hippie is so much better than mine. Every time he would see me, it was, hey, weirdo. And I'd say, hey, weirder than me. That was our banter. So we grew up like with that kind of banter between me and him when he was young. We always had a strong connection, just kind of teasing each other, and we had fun at the fun park for his birthdays. Every year he would get a new wrestling game because that's when it came out. So every year he would have a sleepover with my son Jake and they would play wrestling together. So I'm sure they wrestled each other on the floor because they were both so into wrestling. No one had to worry when Carol was in the hospital. Dylon wasn't alone. He was either with me, staying there with Dylon and Cardon, or he was with Allie or Sabine. So he was in good hands. Cardon would really let you know if he knew who you were. When he couldn't speak, you could always read his little eyes, and he would tell you. When I was taking care of him, he would have nerve pain in his feet and his legs. Well, I got in trouble because I would rub his feet and his legs for him. So then when Brandon and Allie would come over, they couldn't figure out why he was always trying to give him his legs and his feet. He just wanted them rubbed. Just a little bit of something to make him feel better. We watched lots of Moana, and that was one of his favorites back then. So he will always have a special place in my heart. Love you.
I'm going to let these young men come up here and give their memories, and then I think at the luncheon, we'll have a mic there that you guys can continue to share some memories if that's okay. So why don't you two come over for something?
Hello, my name is Kate. Cardon was my cousin and one of my best friends growing up. As my mother mentioned earlier, the Eagle Brothers, it was me, Brock, and Cardon versus the world. My brother here too, sorry. It was us versus the world. I think the shenanigans that we got up to on that farm is extremely understated. Grandpa, I'm gonna apologize for the property damage. Growing up with our little club, I used to think that I was kind of the leader of it, but looking at the turnout here, I think he was definitely in charge of a literal army and a fleet of trucks. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I don't know how to end this.
My name's Kobe Jensen. Me and Cardon shared a special place in life. We were born in November at the same time, or 1 year apart, sorry. We were born 1 year apart, but we shared the month of November together. But growing up in the Eagle Brothers, like he was talking about it, my mom touched on, we shared a special role, and that was being the younger brothers. So he taught me pretty well how to pick on an older brother, and in everything we did, it was always me and him on a team against the two older brothers, and I am sorry for the property damage. One time we found a box of matches in a trailer and we almost burned the barn down. He was always a great little attitude instigator. He was a very hoorah, let's do it kind of guy. And little did I know when he was preparing me growing up to bully my older brother, he was getting me ready to be a middle child and share that position with them to bully our younger siblings.
Thank you again for all the memories. It's great to hear about Cardon. So anyone from my ward knows that our ward's been hit by a few funerals this last few months. But I again say that it's been a privilege to be here and hear about Cardon. I don't think he was any different than any young man. I myself was a wrestling fan back in 10, 12 years old, right? I was more of a Hulk Holster, junkyard dog kind of guy. I wasn't much of a John Cena, but I imagine my wife would probably faint too if she was John Cena. So please know that it can be disheartening and difficult in the situations when we've loved ones, especially our children. I work as a physical therapist. I've been in nursing homes before where I've heard the questions, why am I still here? And why did I outlive my children? Brandon, Carol, Dylan, and Brock, please know that we are all concerned for you. Not just the Ward family and Franklin 2nd Ward, but definitely, as we've heard, right, the community and those relationships that have been forged with the care of Cardon. I've really been trying to think what other great things could be said. He's a wonderful young man. I did find a few good things. I don't have a great German accent, right? But Elder Dieter F. Uchtdorf said a few things the last couple of years, and I just wanted to re-say some of his phrases. He said, many of you have questions about God and about yourself, deep, fundamental questions that are similar. Does God really exist? Does he care? Why do I sometimes feel empty, overwhelmed, overlooked, and lonely? Why hasn't God intervened in my life? Why doesn't he answer this prayer? Why did he allow me to experience this sadness, illness, or tragedy? We sometimes get frustrated when answers of our most personal, important, and urgent questions are delayed. We don't like waiting. When we have to wait more than a few seconds for a search engine to respond, sometimes we might suppose the connection is down or broken. And in our frustration, we might even abandon the search. But when it comes to eternal questions, matters of the soul, we must be more patient. Finally, he says, let us be steadfast and constant disciples. Let us not give up. Let us be true to our covenants. Let us never lose sight of our advocate and our Redeemer as we walk towards him, one imperfect step after another. It's hard when we lose loved ones. But as Brandon, you said, there is a divine plan. God our Father has presented that plan and we've accepted it. And as much as we feel that it is such a long time, it's such a small moment in eternity, you will get to see him again. You will get to be with him. Another quote from Joseph F. Smith: "It matters not whether these tabernacles mature in this world or have to wait and mature in the world to come. According to the words of the prophet Joseph Smith, the body will develop, either in time or in eternity, to the full stature of the Spirit. And when the mother is deprived of those pleasures and joys of rearing her babe to manhood or to womanhood in this life, through the hand of death, that privilege will be renewed to her hereafter. And she will enjoy it to the fuller fruition than it would be possible for her to do here." That's my testimony. God lives. Jesus Christ is our Redeemer and Savior. And as much as it is a time that we will not get to spend with him here, you will get to spend it with him through eternity. I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. We're going to conclude these services by singing a song called A Child's Prayer. There are some handouts that have the words on there. And we're only going to sing it as the first and second verse. We're not going to try to combine it. I don't think you've got the stature to be able to do a rhyme. So, first and second verse, after which we're going to have a benediction by Stephen Jorgensen and Uncle.
Heavenly Father, are you in heaven? And do you hear and answer every child's prayer? Some say that heaven is far away, but I hear it closer around me as I pray. Heavenly Father, I remember now something that Jesus told disciples long ago. Suffer the children to come to me. Father, in prayer I'm coming now to thee. Ready is there. Seek, he is listening. You are his child. His love now surrounds you. He hears your prayer. He loves the children of such is the kingdom of
Our Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day that we have to remember Cardon. Father, we pray that we'll be comforted. Bless the Beckstead family with the peace, understanding, and the comfort knowing that they'll be together again. I know it's hard to understand in life that this is an end, but it's not. As we say goodbye to Cardon, he's having a reunion on the other side. Just once again, bless us all with the comfort of love and peace and understanding. We say these things in my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Will the congregation please rise and all bearers?
All bearers come up to the front, please, if you will.
We appreciate your attendance to the funeral today. The interment will be down at the Franklin, Idaho Cemetery. This concludes the services here at the funeral home.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I know. You remember that? You will be now. I mean, you said that. You could be back to like when I was.
I'm gonna bring
no way.
We gotta figure something out that face.
Are you good? You're fine?
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay.
Shooting some of the stuff. Big tall guy crowd one of those from which one? Anyone all three of them? Yeah. But I'm like, what 10-year-old doesn't remember wrestling? Right. Rowdy around the back. Oh yeah. Andre the Giant. Yeah. Like I remember the cartoon. I remember watching the cartoon. Oh, you said that. And it was just no and that's got to be the first one. That's the part that. Everyone's got to go first. All these things, it's funny because like someone's like, oh, just really passionate stuff and like I wish I could. Just like you do research and think about stuff that they don't know. Something about it didn't come until I came in here today and I was like, he was a special soul. Junkyard dog for sure. Yeah. That's so funny.
Looks like this one. You grabbing all these, Jordan?
Bishop, are you going to the church after, are you?
At the church, yeah, after the cemetery.
Hi, Crystal. Hi, Ian.
Hello. I've got a truck. We can put some stuff in the truck.
Thank you.
I didn't do anything.
That's fine. Yeah, that'd be great.
The truck's just on the far side.
Is there something you can hold those in that won't tip over?
Thank you, Dad, that great trade, I can pick it up.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
So,
where would you like
are you
to
still living over there in Franklin?
Bishop,
Yeah,
why
we're
don't you
over
just
there at
pull
Casey.
around by this van when you get a chance? Put them in the van.
And we had to be ready because he had some appointments, but I looked over your house and I was wondering if you were still there.
Yeah, we're still there.
So, you know trees in North Carolina?
I'm
I
alive.
did see that on Facebook.
Yeah.
So,
Standing up on my feet.
yeah, that's kind of a
Some days
crazy
it's all we
distance
can
away.
Yeah.
Makes
be
it
glad
hard to
for,
visit,
huh?
doesn't it?
Yeah, I just can't hear very good.
Too long.
Yeah, I'm getting
We'll
there.
see what happens
I'm
there,
getting an
but.
implant, but they gotta determine which
she
one to
has-
put it in. Oh, okay.
She's way out there.
And that's a tough time.
She
I
called
can
me
hardly
and
hear
said.
nothing going on up here. Oh, really?
She's scared to tell me she was moving out
Yeah.
there.
I do that when I'm in
And
regular
finally she was
conversation
out.
because it just
I
seems
said,
like
"Oh, well, that's
it's
not
always so
nice."
low. I'm always like, what?
But if I saw it, I appreciate
They
that.
told me I need to put it in this ear, one ear for
Like,
a
I
day.
can't see as much as I
The next day
can.
put it in the other ear and then just one ear.
Yeah.
So they can,
She
cause
was
they
too
can't put
busy when I called her.
implants in both ears, just one.
Well,
Oh,
this
okay.
is going on, that's
My
going
hearing
on.
aids I wear, they work together.
Yeah, he's
But the implant, they only do one, huh? Oh.
We
So
got
does it go in the one, I
brother
guess,
got
you can hear
married
the best out of
in
it?
September. So we went out
The
there.
one that's the worst ear, though.
And Charlotte got married.
Oh, gotcha.
And it was.
Is that better than two hearing aids?
So it was.
Supposed to be. But I won't
So
get it
cute.
for long.
Yeah.
So I know where it's out
Daddy,
coming from.
I
Oh,
looked him
yeah.
up online.
Like if you're over here and you're talking,
He
I'll
said I'm on, I don't know how.
for a while. Yeah. So my brain
Well, that's before the
adjusts to it, yeah.
Perks.
Huh. The little rig on my head is red.
So I'm just like, oh, what's that?
So they might not.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So that might affect it or something? Yeah, they
And
might
my,
affect it so I can't
Bobby's
hear.
daughters up there do what you like to.
Hopefully not. Me too. I want to hear the horns.
They're having
Right? Yeah,
fun.
yeah. I need to
Nice.
get out
My
there
daughter
and
ran
film
into
some of
her
that.
up there when she was like,
Oh, that
for about a year ago. Yeah, well, I got April went up there for a little bit. She was up there for one semester. She transferred down to BYU Provo. Joy is up there now.
Oh, fun. Your youngest?
Yeah, my youngest.
Your youngest is in college?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Baby's in college.
Well, I guess Trudy's youngest is in high school. That makes sense.
Yep, they grow, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Kind of
So,
fast.
how many did you end up having all together?
We had 6. We had 4 girls and
Yeah.
2 boys.
How fun. That's so fun.
Yeah.
So happy for
He's
you.
busy, yeah.
Yeah. How's your mom and dad?
They're good.
Good. We should go visit them.
Yeah, my dad finally retired a few years ago, but he's busy.
Yeah, he doesn't have to sit still.
No,
Neither does your mom, so I'm sure they're both having.
my mom has slowed down quite a bit. She is blue, so I mean her health has kind of not been kind to her the last 6 or 7 years or so, but she still gets around and does. She goes with my dad when she can, and they work at the temple. So
fun.
on Saturdays.
So, Dick Van Dyke, he's 99 years old. Did you see the news? He was out there trying to fight the fire. He's like, oh, I guess I'm not too old to fight this fire. Oh, it's just crazy. I don't know. I didn't hear, did his house burn down?
I think his house did burn down. His neighbors helped him evacuate.
Yeah.
I left my keys up here. I didn't go very far without my keys.
So your youngest, Joy, is up to college, so you're empty nesters?
Well, sort of, but not really. We have to move back in and out.
Yeah, that happens.
My boys are both down in Logan, but April's living with us right now. She was going to go on a mission, but after she got all of her mission papers submitted, she's had some mental health issues. And Salt Lake came back and said, yes. Salt Lake came back and said, well, we want to do an evaluation for her first. It'll take about 6 months. She'll probably serve a service mission and so she's school then.
Yeah. So my son came back and lived at our house, I can't remember how long, but Bob and I were on the road. And I said, Bob, I said, we are only home on weekends, and you guys will sleep at our house. So
they're all over. They're on the, that should be getting ready to go away. You might need to wait a minute, they're gonna stop traffic so you can break this up. Waiting. Yeah. Yeah. Good.